everybody. It's Jim Krenn, No Restrictions, brought to you by Pittsburgh Current Newspaper with Sereny. And Sereny and I are excited today because of our guest. We have a great guest. I think it's going to be one of our favorite shows of the year.
I think so. I'm really excited.
We have a mind reader, Mark Toland. Mark is a mind reader, as in, like Sookie on True Blood.
Oh.
She could read.
I was thinking.
She reads minds. Ridiculous. But yeah, so he's a mind reader, and I believe in all that stuff. I believe there are people that have a special gift, a third eye, and they can read minds. They can do things like that. So I am the perfect gullible person for the audience.
Yep.
Mark, I'd give him standing ovation. See?
Yeah, I don't believe in anything at all. Jim loves ghosts, horoscopes, Jesus, all that
Yes,
stuff.
I'll probably start a religion around Mark.
Yeah,
As
probably.
soon as he's
That's
done,
probably exactly
I'll be
what's
like,
gonna
Mark, I would
happen.
like candles and his pictures, photos. Mark, please
Yeah.
help me hit
He
the
uses
lottery.
Google Maps instead of Waze. Like, he believes anything.
Yes, I do. And you don't. I'm trying. I'm winning her over. She's starting to believe
No,
in
I'm
things.
not.
You don't believe in it. Now, why don't you? Where did this happen? Where in your life did you say I don't believe it? There's so many mystical things that happen. There
No,
are
there
things
aren't.
we can't explain.
No, there isn't.
There is.
No, I believe that anything can be explained by science.
Don't you ever watch like near-death experience documentaries and stuff with those
Yes,
people?
they almost died. They didn't die.
But they went somewhere and they came back
Didn't.
and they always had like it's beautiful where they went.
Their heart
And they're always
didn't
long
stop,
big robes and
or if their heart stopped,
water.
they brought it
and
back.
horses.
There's no water. No, they were.
They
just
did. They went to heaven and back.
All right. You're upsetting me.
There was a neurosurgeon one, the guy that he didn't believe, and he had a near-death experience.
Yeah.
In his documentary, he said he checked his brain and that part
Mm-hmm.
wasn't working. And how about that?
I think they come out of it and their brain is so damaged.
Well, they say
they
you could
think that they
well,
were-
no, there are skeptics that say there's a part of the brain that takes snapshots or whatever before you maybe pass or cross or whatever, and they come back. But I believe there's something out there.
I know you do.
Now-
You believe in anything. You let the TLC travelers pave your driveway.
Yes, I did.
That's like the second biggest scam known to man.
Well-
There's like Nigerian princes, travelers.
The
run around
travelers
paving driveways.
stopped to my house, by my house, but I was busy, and I needed the driveway done. It was just a seal thing. I thought anyone could do this, but I didn't have time, and they charged me like $450 or something. I don't even know if that's a lot, but I didn't have any time. I'm like, sounds good to me, and they only finished half of it, and then they had to go and get more stuff, which they didn't come back for hours, and they left me one of their guys on the back porch.
Yeah, that was part of the deal. They're like, you
Yeah.
get one of our guys.
They left me
now.
with some old guy. He's like 75, 80 years old, like a guy named Otis or whatever, sitting there on the porch with me having a cigar, helping me out, giving me advice.
You're just very easy to trick.
Well, yes, I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did do a bad job. But well, they have to probably have a lot of people like you that turn them down before they get to me.
No, they don't.
They're
If you
very
watch
tenacious.
the show that they like camera crews follow them, they get a lot of people. Like every other house where they find a fucked up driveway. They're like, yeah, you're right. It is pretty fucked up. How much? $1,000? All right. Cash only? No problem. And then they take off.
It was cash only. But they did the driveway. They did it. They just did a shitty job.
Well, they do all those
But they
ones
did it.
too, but they
So they weren't,
This is so embarrassing for you.
they finished. They didn't completely ripped me off. They just did a bad job.
Okay.
I think they felt bad. They probably were. They probably going to rip me off, and they felt bad.
I doubt that's
They
what
said that
happened.
he's a believer.
No, you're just too nice. Okay. You're too nice. You believe everybody.
I don't believe everybody,
Believe everything.
just about.
Yeah.
Well, I believe Mark Toland. I think he's.
How do you know? You haven't even met him yet.
I watched him on video. I know he's great. I know this guy's got some sort of like special gift. He's going to tell us he hit his head somewhere when he's little and then started seeing stuff
Yep.
or something like that.
Well, you know,
Or he's an amazing magician.
Dr. Drew, who like I love and adore, did say
Yes.
something interesting about Tyler Henry, the Hollywood medium.
Okay.
They did a brain scan of that kid, and it was like lighting up like a Christmas tree.
Well, there you go.
That just means he's just
What is
more, I think, maybe intelligent.
But doesn't he read minds, or is a medium?
He says he's a psychic medium.
Well,
but he's only to
so
celebrities.
does Dr. Drew. If Dr. Drew believes he's a psychic medium.
No, he didn't say he believed he was a psychic medium. He said he had an interesting brain scan. That's it.
Wait, Dr. Drew didn't say he was a psychic medium. He didn't believe.
No, he just said that he had an interesting looking brain scan. That's it.
Very nice.
Yeah.
What's the stats?
Here's what he does.
An interesting looking brain scan.
He goes around to celebrities who everybody knows.
I have an interesting looking brain scan, probably.
I don't. I would like to bring a brain scanner, MRI machine in here.
What were you saying? He goes
around to celebrities and tricks them. He thinks that he can see their dead ones, and there's no way anybody would know that, but they're celebrities.
I do know psychics that have been very accurate with me. So I do very accurate, very detailed. There's a place I want to do a show. Sereny, Mark, if we can get Mark to go to the show. I went to Chautauqua is in New York. It's a think tank place in New York, a vacation place. People go to Summers, a lake there. It's beautiful. Little cottages. It's like a Norman Rockwell painting. Yeah. Well, before I went up there was an HBO show called No One Dies at Lilydale. And Lilydale is a little town around the lake of 40 cottages. They're all psychics, the best psychics in the world. Thus, No One Dies at Lilydale. So I'm watching this HBO special, and I can't believe how good they are. They're amazing. So I pick up the brochure at this little bed and breakfast in Chautauqua. What's 20 minutes away from Chautauqua? Lilydale. I went. A psychic read me. She was unbelievable.
What did she say?
Okay, there was this wonderful lady that was my neighbor. And she's the nicest lady in the world. And her name was Marge, but everyone called her Margaret. I called her Marge. Some called her Marge. Some called her Margaret. And so the psychics saying Margaret is coming through. Do you know Margaret? Now I remember calling her Marge. Okay, so I go to Margaret, and nah, I don't know Margaret. And I'm like a Margie. She goes, no, it's a Margaret. And now if it was doing a hot read, the psychic could have jumped right there. I'd given Margot. No, I know Margaret. And then when she goes, Marge. I swear to God, she goes, bob cut. This lady was in her 80s. She had this little bob blonde cut, like, her haircut. And she said, now her husband passed away 2 years earlier than she passed. And he said, Marge wants to thank you, Jimmy, for bringing your dog by her house when you'd walk it. She liked my one beagle. So when her husband passed, I would always bring the dog by because she's the one, visit. And then I take her to breakfast every once in a while. After the morning show, I call her, hey, Marge, I want to grab breakfast. So this psychic said, Marge wants to give you a big kiss on the forehead and thank you for taking her to breakfast, specifically said that, and bringing by your dog. I couldn't believe it. How about that? That's beyond a hot read, I think.
I don't know. You're always covered
What
in
is
dog
that?
hair. You're always covered in dog hair, so it's pretty easy to realize that you have a dog.
Well, how do you get Marge?
You love breakfast.
Well, come on.
Everybody loves breakfast.
Yes, but Marge, come on, Margaret. She said it. Bob cut, the haircut. How do you get that one?
I think she just started going,
You got to see this to believe. You got to see it's Lilydale. It's pretty cool.
Okay. I'll
All
check
right.
it out.
We're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna come back to Mark Toland. Can't wait. He's a mind reader.
Yeah, I'm excited.
He's reading my mind right now, as a matter of fact.
I believe it.
There's all naked women in there. So
Careful, Mark.
I'm a degenerate. We'll be right back. We're back. Krenn No Restrictions, brought to you by the Pittsburgh Current newspaper with Sereny. We were still debating off the air, Sereny ever believing it or not. And our friend Mark Toland, who's nice enough to stop by. He's one of the great entertainers in the country. Really popular in corporates and all over the world, I would guess. I would imagine a performer like you'd be welcome in London and around the world. I'm sure you traveled there.
Sure, I have.
And you were at a residency here in Pittsburgh. And Jake saw you, Mark, and he came back and just talked about you for an hour. So that's
Yeah.
pretty much an impacting performer when I can, and he had me there. I'm like, wait a second. All right, you've been talking about this guy for an hour. He's got to be great.
That's great.
So yeah, so you definitely leave an imprint on people. So, but you're a mind reader. I saw some of your work on YouTube, and Sereny sent it over. It's rather fascinating. Now we were talking, as you were listening, psychics and things like that. How would you describe is your thing like that? What you do?
Well, I come to it from a theatrical perspective and background. So my background, I have a BFA in music and theater. So I'm just a trained performer. I had an interest in this when I was younger. I don't know if my fascination is necessarily in that as much as other people maybe in mentalism or magic might be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't really care about tricks or the demonstrations or whatever you want to call it as much as I like writing stories and telling stories with this. It's just the thing that I do. And I come to it from a very skeptical standpoint, I would say. I gave a TED Talk back in 2014 about being kind of an honest skeptic on stage.
I saw it.
Yeah. So the idea there was that like a lot of people come up to me after the show and want me to like read their palm, speak to their dead relatives or something because they think I'm real. And it was me kind of coming to terms with that and figuring out where I, where do I feel comfortable straddling that line?
Right.
And so
right.
In the show I'm doing currently, the show that Jake saw, the show that I'm have been doing here for 5 weeks now in Pittsburgh. I take a very hard stance of that I'm not real. I'm not psychic. I don't claim supernatural abilities. And I blatantly tell the audience that. But the joy, I guess, for me is that after 80 minutes of revealing personal information, I really get in the weeds. I guess birthdays and signs and memories that people are thinking and all sorts of specific stuff. And I can tell you some good examples later. But I tell all these things, and then at the very end, I kind of pull the rug out from them and say, hey, by the way, I'm not real. I don't think any psychics are real. I'm not claiming abilities, but that's where the mystery is. And so I send the audience out with this nice mystery of like, he says he's not real, but it felt real. What is this?
Right.
And I think even better than saying I'm real, even better than claiming abilities, the idea of having a mystery in 2019, something you can't Google, something you can't find online, something you can't ask anyone the answer for, is way better. So that's kind of my gift to 60, 70 people each night.
Little unknown. I think that's, I
love that.
I like a mystery.
I appreciate that.
Sereny is in your camp then. You're not really. You're kind of like Houdini. Harry Houdini didn't believe in the psychics. He always wanted to debunk. And a lot of magician friends of mine that I have, they always yell at me when we debate. Like Sereny and I are debating, my friend Paul Gertner and a few others.
Yeah.
They just roll their eyes like, oh, Jim. And they do the hot read thing, and they teach, some of the things that, I know some things they could do. But how did you as a kid or whatever, how did you find to become a mind, to do this, to learn this?
Well,
craft?
there's like an overarching umbrella of magic or mentalism or whatever, and then beneath it are many different specific disciplines, right? So you could say like card magic or sleight of hand or big stage illusions like David Copperfield or Siegfried and Roy or something, right? So there's all these little genres, and I was always pulled towards the psychological, towards the mental magic or whatever you want to call it. So even when I was 3 or 4 years old, just getting into this, that was kind of the pull for me. I remember doing stuff in like kindergarten for show and tell or talent shows at school or something, and I loved that. I don't know why. It felt like I could really perform it. I'm like I said, I have a theater background, so as an actor, I felt like I could really just express myself in that way.
Right.
And then when I came out of school, I just kept doing that. I just made the show even more psychological and made a push to. I really want it to be as amazing as possible. So I really want people to come in not knowing what to expect, kind of downplay it for the first 15 minutes, and then just knock them sideways with like the most ridiculously specific stuff I can.
Well, the interesting thing is when you grow up, like Sereny and I were talking, like Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby. I watched, inspired me. Whatever you kind of Bill Cosby was one of them. Comedians. It really
Not anymore.
But but
what happened?
Yeah, well, you don't want to know. But so the people that inspire you to do something. So entertainers have that, where you see. I remember a guy named John Biner who did impressions and kind of mixed comedy impression. That's kind of what I did and do. But anyway, was there somebody like that you saw as a kid? Was there a mentalist I would say the categories what you do is mentalism.
Not really.
Was
Not
there anyone
really.
you
As
saw,
a
like
young
Kreskin or
kid,
something?
no, but there were like 7 books in the library that I'd check one out and read it on magic or history of magic or something. I'd take it back, get the next one. I just rotated those my whole childhood. One was a Kreskin book. There was a mentalist who came through when I was about 8 years old that I saw at our big performing arts center. I remember that. There were several magicians who came through at the county fair. I just remember seeing this and then seeing like people like David Copperfield and others on TV. You know, he was huge in the early 90s. And I remember watching and just being like, oh, this is something you can do. I just assumed, oh, he's on TV, I could do this too. I just put that together. But in college, I saw several mentalists who are actually friends of mine now, which is crazy. So I saw them on YouTube or on my campus. They would come through and do shows. And I was like, man, this is powerful stuff. And then it's taken, I've been doing this full time for about a decade now. So it's taken about all that time to figure out what I want to say with it and what I have to bring to the table and what, coping with what all that means to me and the idea of skepticism, but also I'm doing a very deceitful, dishonest art form on stage. So.
And you're telling them.
I told you.
She loves being right. She loves it. But so how, you seem to build a story around your act, using the people in the audience, and so it's an interchangeable kind of stuff. Jake, there was something. Jake, our producer and camera man, Jake, there was something specific that Mark said about you that blew you away, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was my birthday, and then like drums and piano that I play. And
there you
also,
go.
Another thing was my girlfriend was with me that night, Kirsten, and she has a sunflower tattoo. And then he was like, I'm getting a sunflower vibe from this side of the room. And then she was like, I have a sunflower tattoo.
Which means
really cool.
Mark is psychic and doesn't know it.
Yep.
No, I'm kidding. You had no idea till now. The third eye.
This is like an intervention. You're telling me now.
You believe now.
I thought it was just coming on a podcast. I'm leaving here a miracle worker.
A miracle. A whole new act, the psychic thing now. You're like, well, Jimmy said I'm a psychic.
Yeah, see, that's the fun. Like what Jake's saying is that the show's different every night because I don't know what's going to happen. So, I mean, in my opening words, I say like, I think of the audience as the cast, their thoughts as my props, and their minds as my stage, right? So without the audience for a mind reading show, you just don't have a show, which is so exciting. It's kind of like flying without a net, like I know what the show is going to be, but I don't know what's going to go in between all those kind of benchmarks I have to hit on the way there,
When you're doing the benchmarks, you're doing the mind reading, could something go wrong?
Yeah, it goes wrong all the time. Sure.
What do you
do? I'm sure you've probably done a little improv or something, and you clearly you guys do stand up, right?
Sure.
So if a joke doesn't land, if a new piece of material doesn't hit, you just swerve and you go another direction. You take it somewhere else. Maybe you do some crowd work. Maybe you find, discover a new moment over here that you didn't even know existed, and now that becomes part of your act. Like all those things happen.
But yours is a little different. There's the art of deception, but there's also the art of specific things.
You'd be surprised though if something goes wrong. I've done 30 shows. I'm starting my final week tonight, so I've done 30 shows here already, and I think I've had at least one thing kind of go south every week, probably. And it's just minor things. It's things that I didn't expect to happen. It's someone who doesn't follow instructions because it's an audience participation kind of thing. It's someone who does something unexpected, all of those things. And when that happens, you just create on the fly. I've had people come in who are completely wasted, hammered drunk, but on like a
Jake.
Wednesday. Yeah, it was Jake. That's why all the photos were blurry that Jake took that night. It was, I've had people who came in were completely wasted, but I come out and I pick someone right away for something, and I couldn't tell initially, right? Because I just go you, and then I just pick someone. And then you have to deal with, oh my gosh, I've brought in 2 people who want to help and 1 person who is hammered, and what am I going to do? So I've had to swerve around that. I've had people try to mess with me because they come in very skeptical, and you just deal with that. But I think the best thing, anyone who asks me about that, I say it the same way, is like, since the audience doesn't know where I'm going, I get to go wherever I want, and that's where they think I was going all along, which is such the fun of improv or anything. Yeah. And I've stayed at Second City back in Chicago where I live, and Improv Olympic, and I was an actor in school. I love that. It's kind of a choose your own adventure show. Just whatever happens, I'm going to embrace it and go. Kind of like with the sunflower. Like I'm not sure where that's going to go, but we figure it out, and hopefully it's amazing in the end.
Do you look at it as a challenge when somebody is trying to mess you up? There have to be people that go out of their way to make it difficult on you. In other
There
words,
are.
that not only skeptics, but they want to just show off or whatever
Yeah,
they
be
are.
a dick.
Right. Every
Yeah.
once in a while, you must run into that. And that is that look. You look at it as a challenge, or is it? Oh my God!
Like a
What,
heckler.
what a nuisance. Yeah.
Well, I don't think if people do that, then I've given the wrong vibe off. I think magic or mentalism has a problem from the get-go in that it feels very confrontational. It feels like a performer is coming out literally to say, look what I can do. I'm better than you. Like
Yeah.
that's basically what they're saying. Like, you don't know how this works and I do, and now sit back and give me applause for, I'm a jerk. Like whatever Seinfeld's joke is. What is it? He said something like, here's a quarter, now it's gone, I'm a jerk. Right? I think that's the Seinfeld joke, right? So that's kind of the vibe initially. So that's why I try to tell the audience initially and make it feel it's very inclusive and communal. I want the audience to be part of it. I think of it like, whereas like when I was in theater school and there's a fourth wall between me and the audience, I've kind of moved the fourth wall behind the audience in a way, so we're all in this stage together in some weird way. And if someone does heckle me, if someone does try to mess with me or challenge me or something, I've done it wrong. I haven't let them know that, hey, we're in this together. You make the show too. I'm here for you. Just because I'm doing something that's unexplainable for you doesn't mean I'm trying to pull a fast one on you. I'm using it to give you a sense of mystery. I'm using it to let you forget whatever's going on in your life for 80 minutes, like give you a good night out, whatever your celebration is. So I try to get that vibe in the first 30 seconds to 3 minutes of the show with my opening remarks, and hopefully people do. I've been heckled once since I've been here, and it was very playful, so it was not a problem at all. It was
Pittsburghers
just a
are
guy.
really nice.
Yeah, the audience has been very nice here, and he was teasing, and it made for a really fun moment because I shut that shit down. So that was fun.
Yeah, you're seasoned.
Yeah.
We're with Mark Toland. It's Jim Krenn, No Restrictions with Sereny. We're going to take a quick break, and Mark, I was going to ask, I don't know if you prepared anything. Would you be able to do something?
Yeah, we should do a
Snippet of
couple
your act?
things.
All right, we're
For
going to
sure.
come back and read Sereny's mind after this. Okay. Right back. Jim Krenn, No Restrictions.
You can get medical marijuana now. Visit cccregister.com or call 888-316-9085 today. Compassionate Certification Centers is a physician-owned and alternative health network here to serve you. Call 888-316-9085 today. Get certified fast. Compassionate Certification Centers, experts in medical marijuana, treatment plans, education, research, and patient advocacy. Finally, a team of doctors here to serve you. Call 888-316-9085 or visit cccregistered.com.
Jim Krenn, No Restrictions, Pittsburgh Current newspaper podcast. Right, Sereny?
No, both wrong.
Pittsburgh. We got to get it right.
Pittsburgh Current Podcast Network.
Pittsburgh
mouthful.
Current. I can't say. Yeah, so
Just say PC.
She's the brains. I'm the eye candy of the show.
Obviously.
We're at Mark Toland, who is a mentalist and an actor, and he is has a show at Liberty Magic, and it's one of the most popular shows to come to town in a long time. People are talking about it. Jake was raving about it. I respect that. And when a performer impacts somebody to that point where I know that glazed look, then somebody does, I know the performer's great. They had that look. You got to see him. And it's a word of mouth game, this whole thing. But you've been doing this for many years, selling out, I'm sure, and you see yourself doing this forever? Because we don't do comedy forever, right? I mean, you don't see yourself ever retiring from this?
I like telling stories.
Okay.
So I tell a big story in the middle of the show. Here's the deal. I swear the audience to keep the show a mystery every night.
Okay.
Which I think is really fun.
Good job, Jake.
And I talk about mystery. No, it's okay. I bet he didn't. I bet he didn't talk about the specifics, and you kind of left most of that aside, which is awesome. I try to keep the show a mystery because I think what I have is, like I mentioned earlier, that feeling of mystery that we can't Google, we can't
Right.
look this
Make
up.
it fun. Yeah.
And so I think
Yeah,
the most amazing things in life aren't what I do. There's a lot of people in my discipline who are like, I want to show the audience the most amazing. I'm like, well, I've seen the Grand Tetons, I've seen the ocean, the stars are pretty awesome. Like, it's going to be hard for like a card trick to live up to that. But I think the idea of something unexplainable is cool because it reminds you that it's okay not to know. Every once in a while, it's okay to have a mystery. So I encourage the audience throughout the show with what I do to enjoy mysteries, to keep the show a mystery. And usually in the talk back after the show, I talk about some other ideas. But people are like, what do you do to put mystery back in your life? Like, part of what I do is like I I've lately been like getting offline. Like it sounds so obvious, and there's a big push right now for people to get offline. But like even more importantly, if I feel like a buzz in my pocket, I'm out to lunch with someone, I just don't check my phone then and there, right? And then by the time lunch is done, I pull my phone out. I'm like, oh yeah, who texted me? And then I get this. It's a minor mystery during the day, you know.
Right.
It's this excitement of I'm cool not knowing right now. I don't have to worry about it. And I try to insert that mystery into my life all the time. I was over in Regent Square having lunch a couple weeks ago. These two guys come in and sit next to me. I'm just reading a book, minding my own business, but it's so close. The tables are so close there that these guys come in. I couldn't help it over here. And one guy sits down. The other guy says, what's up? The guy goes, look, and pulls up his sleeve to show his new tattoo. And the other guy goes, oh, I saw it on Facebook. Pretty cool to see it in person. And I was like, we're just removing mystery from our life. Like, that's not fun.
Yeah.
That's very
What is a
common.
high school reunion now? You just go back and you're like, I'm a doctor. Yeah, we saw it. You have 2 kids. Cool. And then you have to get like belligerently drunk just to enjoy yourselves or
That's
something,
true.
right?
The
So
human
like,
contact is gone.
yeah,
the
you're
mystery
taking
gone,
mystery
the
out of your
bit.
life. So I think that is what I have more than the other. And so that's the story of the show. That's the storytelling that I'm sharing now. And I'm currently working on a different show, which interestingly, I mean, without getting into it too much, is about belief, kind of like what you guys are talking about, and something else that fascinates me, kind of the psychology of that. We'll see where that goes. It's kind of in the beginning stages, but that's where I come to it from. So if I'll still perform in 20 years. If it's not this, I'll still be telling stories or writing jokes and maybe making movies or something. I don't know. I like writing and telling stories.
Well, I got to tell you, if you're one of Mark's friends, and I'll make sure not to call you if I ever need a ride to the hospital, because you don't check the phone. You would get my text, Jimmy needs a ride to the hospital. I'm sorry.
No, see, I check and I stay on that. Yeah, I'm not advocating people to
Jim,
just
I'm
go
sorry,
through
I was at
life.
last. I'm kidding.
I'm not telling people to go through life like blissfully unaware of everything. Like, don't even check the weather or something. But it is fun to just be cool not knowing.
And it's hard to do.
It is hard to do.
Yeah.
It is hard to say,
Right.
I don't want to know.
To go offline, it's hard to turn my phone.
And
My
some
God.
people get mad at you when you do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. People get
Yeah, my
mad.
wife just deleted all her social media, and I'm not far behind her. I'm going to do that too, I think.
Really?
So, yeah.
Wow. That's impressive.
She's loving her life. No one's bothering her. It's amazing. She's waking up earlier. She's does whatever she wants.
Doing
Healthier.
yoga.
This is
Oh,
way to
my
go.
God.
All right, I'm in.
What an instant 6-pack the next day. What if that's how it worked? You just didn't know. You
She's
had to
making
just.
her own
I
soap.
can't. Yeah, exactly.
Wait, that's how we promote the show. We can't delete.
No, we can't.
No, I get it. See, I get it. If that's your thing, you got to do it. But
Don't do it,
there's
people.
other ways to have mystery. There's other ways to have mystery.
No,
That's what I'm advocating.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. You get back to just being ourselves and, mindfulness and all the other
Yeah.
good stuff. And it is taken away with,
I mean, the more connected we are, it's
It's an
fun
il-
every once in a while not to know.
it's an
something.
illusion.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, friendships are becoming an illusion.
Yeah.
Now, Mark, would you be kind enough to
let's-
maybe do something with Sereny?
Yeah, let's try a
maybe
couple pieces. This will be
Love
fun.
it. I just like see her amazed. She doesn't believe in anything.
So, I mean, you can tell people who are watching, but we haven't done anything yet. I
No.
walked in and we kind of just hopped right on air here and we're
Absolutely.
just chatting. So, Sereny, catch this. This is a die. So you play the game like this. You'll hold one hand flat like this. You turn the die to any number you want, but keep kind of a screen up there so I can't see. So turn to any number you want and then look at me. This is a psychological warm-up since I haven't done anything with you yet.
But I have
okay?
glasses on. You can probably see them.
Okay, wow. Typical skeptic over here. Okay, so imagine the number like you were going to tell me
Okay.
over and over and over, and just count out loud from 1 to 6. Don't be obvious when you say your number.
Okay.
Okay, go
Yeah.
for it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, very good. Hang on. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I don't think it was a 6. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it a 4? Maybe.
Yeah.
Let me see. Is it a 4? Very good. It is a 4. Okay, so try it again because
Okay.
that's 1 out of 6. Could be a
Okay.
lucky guess. Do it again and pull your glasses off. Pull your glasses off so you know I can't see it. Yeah, take your glasses off.
I'm not going to be able to see the number. Okay.
Do you have something? Okay, this time, nothing out loud. I just have to kind of figure out how you think. That's why we do the first round. So just think the number now like you're going to say it over and over and over. That's a 2 this time. Is that right?
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Last time, I'll even take my glasses off. I'll even
Okay.
take my glasses off.
Okay.
I'll close
I'm just
my
gonna
eyes
shake
so I
it up this
can't
time.
see anything. Make sure you know what it is. Otherwise, it's just a guess. So do you have a number in mind?
Yes.
Okay, imagine like you were shouting at me now. I don't want to see, so just imagine like you were going to yell it at me over and over and over. I mean, clearly you're skeptical, Sereny. I'd be skeptical if I were you. Guy comes in, says he's a mind reader, so you'd probably just go for a 4 again. Is that right?
Mark Toland is possessed by the devil.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
It is real cool.
Very cool.
Oh my God! I wish you could do that. Could I do that? Could anyone do that?
I just do that for
Yeah,
90
try
minutes.
it,
That's the
Jim.
whole show right there.
I'd watch that. I'd watch that. I'd watch you doing numbers. I'm amazed.
More jokes in between, but I do it 3 times over 90 minutes. 30 minutes to fish a number out from
Very
someone.
cool.
Obviously, we don't want to know how you do,
I
but
love it.
because I like the mystery also. But can I ask you this?
Yep.
Is that hard to do or easy? Would you say with that trip, whatever you did, or that not what that was it hard to do? Would you say for would it take
Part of the fun of what I do is sometimes
Curious.
the most amazing things are the easiest.
Okay.
But sometimes some of the smallest things are the most difficult. So you have to learn these really, really difficult things just to achieve something. Whereas like the other 90% of it is super simple. You
That's
know
what
what
I thought with that. 'Cause that's a small
really
thing, but a
vague,
big thing. Like you're
right,
doing numbers, it's like it's but still you're like, how are you doing
right.
this?
So this is 1 out of 6, but this takes a lot of work.
Right.
And then there's other things that are like huge, grandiose things that are ridiculously easy to pull off. But that's part of the joy. Like you kind of want to like
Yeah, I know.
include every bit of that in the show.
Yeah.
You want to have these big moments, these small moments. You want to have things that take a lot of concentration and things that are kind of throwaways so that the audience kind of has this nice roller coaster ride. And then they have this variety of memories to remember. If it was just the same thing in the show, you just had this staccato the whole way where they wouldn't, they couldn't think back in snippets and remember what happened. So, yeah, that's not a very good answer. That was really vague.
That's good. No,
you're
like,
asking too many questions.
You know
John.
what? No, really. Kind of host am I? I'm a huge fan of this, Mark. I could watch this all day. I hope I'm not torturing you.
No, I want to try something with you.
Okay, please. Yes.
Think
I
of
love
someone,
this
because that's just a warm up.
Yeah,
And this
a
is
warm
just to kind of figure you guys out. So think of someone you know who's not here, and I want you to commit yourself to one name, right? So it could be a friend, it could be a family member. I'm going to give you this to write down, but I don't want you to show until the very end, okay? So just the first name, write it here, and don't even show Sereny. Just keep it secret. Just keep it secret. And then fold that up, right? And I'm not going to look at you for the benefit of anyone who might be listening to this later. I'm looking away. Sereny can confirm that. I'm
He's
not
looking
looking
away.
all that good stuff.
I'm looking
and clearly,
away.
like we're on camera as well. So is that folded? Let me grab that. I will not. Oh, we'll fold it down one more time. Okay. I will confirm for everyone who's watching or listening that this is a folded card, and Jim, it's opaque. You cannot see through it, anything like that. So are you right-handed, left-handed? Right-handed. Hold out your right hand for me. Squeeze that tight. Seal it up in there. You can just hang on to that. That's just proof if we need it. For now. Okay. Think about this person like you were going to tell me, right? So imagine this person like you had him in mind. A couple things, though. You have not mentioned this person since I've been here, definitely. And I did not ask you about this before we went on. This is the first we've done this. This is a fresh thought right now. Absolutely. Okay, so focus on this person, this friend, this family member. Imagine, to me, this is a close friend. That's what I think. It's a close friend, like a best friend or a really close kind of friend. Is that right? No. Family? Oh, it is. But it feels like there's this big connection here that's, okay. Okay, it feels like, okay. So it is family. Okay, so instead, and this might be why, it must be an interesting name or a peculiar kind of thing, and that might be what's throwing me off here. Yes. So instead of doing it like you were before, just imagine spelling the name out in front of you. Imagine spelling it out in front of you. So you see the letters kind of typing in front of you on a giant screen, and as you do, okay, it's a shorter name. That's the first thing, and that's what's throwing me. That makes more sense now.
Yes.
And that's why I wasn't figuring this out before. It's a shorter name.
Very much, yeah.
2, 3, 4 letters, and it's kind of interesting, right? It's like I don't know if it's like a nickname or something, but it feels like it's not a common thing. This is kind of peculiar.
It's a nickname. It's a shorter version of a name.
And I don't think you're messing with me here. Sometimes
No.
people do this.
No,
to
that's
mess with
what
me.
we
This
call
is
it,
what
right?
came. Yeah. Okay. It'll be something like this. It'll be something like this.
Okay.
I'll write my guess here.
All right.
Okay.
I'm too.
Thank you.
I'm too amazed. I'm like my mouse. I'm ready to
Tell you
build a
what. Why
religion around
don't
my-
you close your eyes so I can show the camera here?
Okay.
I'll go with something like this.
Oh,
Something like this.
my God.
Jim, what was the name you have in mind? What's the name?
It is my mom, Lou.
Oh,
L-U. All right.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
That is awesome. Oh my God.
Wow.
How is that even? See,
Well,
yeah, you would definitely be like, you could definitely convince me that you were a psychic.
Yeah. You want to join
I'd
my
be like-
congregation
yeah,
tonight?
I'd be all
or play
in,
poker
man.
later? What do you want to do?
I would be all in with this, man. I'd be like, yeah, you got to see. Mark's amazing.
So cool.
He sees people.
He's dead people. You know. Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
very cool.
that has to. Man, that blew me away. I mean,
Is that how you spell it too?
Yes, that's
Wow.
what's so. Yeah, it's like a nickname, Lucille Lou, L-U, and we always spell Lou. Fascinating. That's
Very
wild.
cool.
Is you do that in your act?
Yeah, we do things like this in the act. We've had some really good moments in the act. Like,
Yeah, it was amazing actually.
yeah, since I've been here in Pittsburgh, some really exciting stuff has happened. Like, I guessed one night that this is different than the the tattoo earlier, but I told someone they had a secret tattoo, and guess what it was? And you wouldn't think anything of that, except their mom was there, and they hadn't told their mom yet. It's a big moment. It was awesome. I don't care. Didn't have anything to do with me. They got to go home with that. So, I've had all sorts of stuff like that happen, and that's kind of the fun of it, because when you get people to that point where just like now, where their thing is so personal and specific to them, you see them transform.
Yes.
So I've seen. This is usually like a man. I'll see a man in the back, arms crossed.
Oh yeah.
And a little, a little skeptical, kind of not believing any of this, and then I'll come to him, and I'll tell him something, and you'll just see the entire demeanor change. He'll just melt, and suddenly he's completely on board, leaning forward part of the show, because when it happens to you, it's completely different. So.
Right.
That's maybe the most fun is just to win people over. But this is a weird thing where it's not a passive thing. You need it to happen to you. And so that's kind of the idea of the show, to get as many people involved as possible. Sometimes as many as 30, 35 people of the audience gets to participate. And everyone gets to participate from their seat. But, sometimes I'll read that many minds during the show.
And I know what you're saying. But I know there's a procedure to that. But also it's a mystery. Like you said,
is a mystery,
going home, I would think like you're saying. But like, wait, I noticed, but I'm thinking, but wait, how did he do that?
Yeah.
It's like,
That's good. It's like, on the drive home or
right.
3 a.m. in your case tonight or something, you're going to have to reconcile with that and say like, okay, I guess I'll never know. And that's okay. And I think that's a real gift in 2019, because we have too much information.
We got back to the car in the parking garage. I'm like, I don't know how he did that. And we're like trying to figure it out. And we just gave up. Yeah.
See, that's so I'm never there for that. So that's awesome.
I'm just gonna say that. I'm just
or am I? Maybe I was hiding.
Mark has the third eye. That's what I'm gonna say. That's fantastic. As we wrap the show, could we do one more? Is it possible? I don't want to put you in a spot.
No. Let's try
one more as we wrap up.
Let's try something else.
Let's get Sereny.
Let's do. Do we have a little table? Is there a little table?
Yeah.
Let's do a little table, and I'll try something with you. Let's do like we'll do like synchronicity, Sereny. Okay. This is the most fun, because now that I kind of know how you think, this is about getting us on the same wavelength. So our thoughts coming together as one, right?
Okay.
So I'll show you these. You guys will know. You'll know where these are from for sure, Jim. Some symbols: a circle, a plus, a square, a star. Wavy lines. You know where these are from?
Western Psych. Yes. No, I'm kidding.
They're from Ghostbusters, right?
Yes.
Bill Murray and
yes.
Pop culture. I do a lot of college shows, and you'd be amazed how many people don't know where these are from now. But for us, we still know. We're kind of on the last edge of that.
Exactly.
So, Sereny, a bunch of symbols, and the point here, of course, is that they are not important to you. Hopefully, they're just random, right?
Okay.
So, circle, plus, square, star, wavy lines, and I have the same 5 for myself.
Okay.
So, I will give you these 5. And I'll just ask you to mix them up. Now, it's not like a card trick or something. It doesn't matter about the order, but I want you to know we're starting fresh. So put them in a new order. Just mix them quickly. Point being, we'll start clean. So this is just our thoughts and nothing else coming between us here.
Any order.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You'll see why. You're going to take them out at random in a moment. The goal here is for you to just think of one. Start with one that you would like to think of.
Okay.
And once you have that one in mind, don't take it out or anything. Just focus on it out here in front of you. So right here, do you have it in mind?
Yeah.
Just the first one. Okay, good. Let me see if I can work this out, because I just did something with you, so I should be able to figure this out. I'm going to take a guess. I'll put mine down first. Would you find yours and set it over there, whatever you thought of? Very good. We'll do it again. So we'll make 2 matching piles like this, and hopefully we can see that on the camera there. Okay, so let's do it again. Get a new one in mind. Don't take it out, but you have 4 to choose from, so get a new one in mind. Do you have something?
Yeah.
Okay, so see it here and then make it a little bigger. Okay, let me go with this. I'll go with this one right here. Okay, so I'm committed. I always put mine down first, Jim, right? And Sereny does.
Yes.
So you got 2 down now, so 3 to choose from. Think of another one from the remaining 3. You have one? No, don't take it out. Don't take it out. Just think it. See it here and even bigger this time. So you got, okay, good. I'll go with this one. You can set it down now. Let's do it again. Let's do it again with 2 to choose from. Look back and forth from those 2 like a 50-50. So really do that. Settle on one. Look up here and make it the biggest of all. Don't take it out. Just see it. Oh, very good. Okay, I'll go with this one. I'll end with that one. So I'm completely committed and finished there. Yep, and put your last one on top. Now, there's no way I can know what you were going to do, right? And I put mine down first.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is synchronicity, so that's kind of getting our thoughts in tune with one another, right?
Okay.
Bringing our thoughts kind of on the same wavelength. If we did well, hopefully we should have a match or 2. The odds of 1, of course, is 1 in 5, so on and so forth, right? So we'll flip from the top just to see how we did, and then we'll see where it goes. Yeah. So I ended with the plus.
Okay.
What about you? I ended with the plus. Very
Oh,
good.
wow.
Then I went
Wait
with
a
the circle.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Very good. That's the circle. Then I went with the star.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Then I went with the square right there. That's excellent. That should be all five for five somewhere in there. Yeah, all 5 for 5. The way
How?
Very good.
Bacon.
That
was
is the
one.
most amazing thing I've ever. Because I know I watched it just randomly. That's amazing.
Crazy. I love it.
That's awesome. I could watch this all day. It's phenomenal. I gotta watch your show. I gotta go to your show.
Oh, please,
right?
please, come see it. Yeah.
That's right. That's
You have
right.
any tickets? Where can we? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's at
Liberty
Liberty Magic. It's one more week. So the cool thing about this venue, I should say, is that this is unheard of. To do a residency somewhere as
Cool.
an entertainer is just
The greatest.
just doesn't exist,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you're lucky enough to do it, you got to seize that opportunity. But usually what I do is a residency for a weekend. I'll be there for 5 shows in a weekend or something.
Mm-hmm.
This is 6 shows a week for 6 weeks. So tonight, Wednesday through Sunday, August 4th, shows downtown Liberty Magic, and then they have other performers coming in. They have a whole subscription series. So if you miss me, go back and see others. There's tons of disciplines, close-up magic. I think they have some really kind of musical, magic-oriented
Right,
stuff.
right.
Some sleight-of-hand heavy things, classical magic coming through. So a lot to choose from. I'm the only mentalist for a while though. So if you want to see this, you got to make it down before August 4th.
You are from Chicago, right?
Yeah,
Or-
I'm based out of Chicago.
How does the Chicago and Pittsburgh? I always think similar in a way. It's the people kind of neighborhood down
Midwest
to earth,
vibe,
right?
Midwest vibe, very friendly.
Midwest vibe, right?
Good art scenes. I feel like Pittsburgh has a great art scene, and there is, there's that kind of what would you say, eager to please kind of vibe that runs through the whole
Yeah,
Midwest.
we wanna be entertained.
Chicago still has that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So everywhere you go, people are friendly. I think the performers tend to try to give their best for the audience because they know how important that is and all those things. So yeah, there is a similarity. There is a real joy to that I can see. Especially, I mean, I'm from Kansas originally, live in Chicago now, so most of my life has been spent in the Midwest, and I'm a Midwest kid myself, so I definitely relate
Down
to
to
that.
earth,
So.
regular guy.
Yeah, I try to be.
That's all right, Mark. Thanks for joining. I hope
Thanks
you come
for
back
having me.
again.
So much.
Yeah, please.
Sereny and
That was
I'd
so
say
much
it's a stalemate. You really have me believing you're a psychic. You could have done that. So
Ask them for money.
you could have easily had me going there. Especially even that last thing. It's I don't know. But like you said, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I want to be,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, no, I don't want to know. I love the mystery. It's so cool. I don't know how you do it, but I love it. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
Mark
you.
Toland, thanks, bud. Appreciate
Appreciate it.
Jim Krenn, No Restrictions with Sereny.